already early, which is smart, as cold as it's going to be. And in this day and age, get that Halloween stuff done early. That was nice to see. It truly was. Tonight, college football reveal time. I'll give you my top four in just a second. The Grizzlies, here we are, 4 games in, saying hello to November, and the Grizzlies are still searching for what is now an elusive first win. Here's what would worry me. They're 0-4, right? What is scary is that Triple J and Bane each had 30 last night, and Marcus Smart had 23 points and 9 assists. So the big three, they performed. And you still lost by 15 points. You gave up 125. 125-110, that is your final. Where is the defense? When a team shoots 50%, how about this? When you allow 23 threes at 49% field goal, you're not going to win many games. So what would be worrisome to me if I were Taylor Jenkins would be I just got 30 out of Bane, 30 out of Jackson, 23 out of my point guard with 9 assists, and I lost by 15. In fact, midway through the second quarter, the game was over. We got a problem. The Beale Street Bears have a problem. They don't play D. This is a team that prided itself, grit and grind era on defense, point paints. They got point paints last night. They beat them. That was the one category they really beat them in. Rebounding wasn't as horrible as you might think. Of course, their big guy got 4 fouls like in the first quarter. But they can't defend. They only lost a rebound battle like 48-44. They can't defend. Whew, man. Now they go to Utah. Well, you got to play road games. 3 next are on the road. Here's the good news. Utah is just 1-3. That game on Thursday, we'll talk, or Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Today's
Wednesday.
Tuesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, Utah's Wednesday.
Right. And then on Thursday, we will talk with Pete Pranica about what the heck is going on at FedEx Forum with them. Interestingly enough, Thursday, the Tiger basketball team will play at FedEx Forum against Lemoyne Owen. That'll be exhibition game number 2. We're going to talk with Tim Doolin about the World Series. That thing is now tied up at 2-1. I believe it's not tied up. Texas is ahead 2-1, excuse me. I believe Arizona was Tim Doolin's pick at the beginning of I don't know if it was the beginning of the playoffs. He'll remind us here in a little bit. The Rangers lost Scherzer and Garcia last night. Adolis Garcia, the former Redbird who has been red hot in all of the postseason, was the MVP of the ALCS. He left last night with an oblique. I don't know if that means the prognosis is bleak for him coming back. We'll have to wait and see about that. Jeff Moore will be in. We'll put to bed Week 8 of the NFL. And then for the last time for a while till spring, TJ Reeves, our buddy down in Tampa, will be joining us. He starts a new show with U.S. Bat or something like that. He'll let us know. That'll be at 10:45. So the big college football reveal is tonight. Here's how I would pick it. And Zach Boyd, you can tell me if you concur or if you disagree. I would go number 1, Georgia. They haven't lost. Until you beat them, why would you think anything different? Ohio State, they got a win over Penn State and Notre Dame, probably the best resume of all. I would put them number 2. 3, Florida State, they got a win over LSU. They've got this prolific offense, a quarterback that's in the Heisman candidate conversation. That would be my 3rd pick. And then with number 4, I'm going to go with Washington. They have a great win over Oregon. Michael Penix is the leader in my mind at this moment for the Heisman Trophy. And that resume with that win over Oregon is pretty impressive because Oregon, they're good. They're really good. Look what they did to Utah this past week. At Utah. That's impressive. Who's not in there? That would be Michigan. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, who've they beaten? That's the first. Two, how can you pick a team to be in your top four that clearly all of the evidence, and we keep getting more and more, now there's ball boys that are involved. More and more evidence, these guys have been cheating for a while. Jim Harbaugh, by the way, denied that his contract extension was rescinded. This just keeps getting more and more crazy. He has denied any culpability in any of this. I don't see how you can anymore. And the other interesting aspect, and I heard Greg and Eli talking about Biff Poggi, who Memphis will face next week. He's the head coach at Charlotte. An interesting story. A hedge fund manager. Apparently his net worth is $5 million, but his wife is a billionaire. He's got coaching chops. He was a disciple of Jim Harbaugh. And I want to say he was also a coach a couple of other places as an assistant, maybe Boston College one. I'd have to go back and look. But he started or purchased, whatever you want to call it, a high school team, St. Francis, that became successful, and he's going to try that model, I believe, the same model he used in high school in college, and he basically talked the administration in Charlotte into doing just that. So that story becomes more and more interesting. But I would not put Michigan in. I don't see how you can with a team that at this moment. And here's the other interesting aspect. I've talked to a couple of Michigan alums who are sick about this. But the truth is, the NCAA, the Big Ten, they're going to drag their feet. They're going to wait for this investigation to be completed. It won't be completed until Jim Harbaugh is no longer with the team and in the NFL or somewhere. He's certainly not going to make it through this one. But by the time any kind of punishment is doled out to Michigan, it'll be well past this year. So now you got to go on resume and Ohio State and things like that. So that to me, my four: Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington, in that order. No Michigan whatsoever. And there you have it. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. Don't forget the overstock inventory continues, and they want your help. They've got a sale you'll love with patio sets up to 50% off as they bring new stuff in. They got to get this out. Play gyms under $2,000. There's an extended sale pricing on all the in-stock hot tubs and swimming spots. Go see Lindsay. Go see Billy. Go see all the crew. They'll take care of you, and they got some great prices right now on getting this overstock sale cleared. All you got to do is get to I-40 and Whidden Road. You know, the title sponsor of this program, and it has been for a long time, is Genesis of Olive Branch. They're housed in the same building with Homer Skelton Hyundai right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. That's the first exit in Mississippi, and you know Highway 78 is Lamar. Done a lot of work. It's really easy to get there. Turn left when you're there. You'll understand the entire customer experience because they have customers for 30 years that always are loyal because they're so well taken care of. And now I want you to go see Vinny. Vinny is the head of the Genesis cars, the luxury car that is just so fantastic. And Vinny will give you prices on a GV70. That's the smaller luxury SUV, or the GV80, the larger one. They got sale price and special financing. Go see Vinny. Tell him we sent you. You'll love the experience at Genesis of Olive Branch. Tim Doolin. We've only got one more week with our good friend who apparently is an excellent prognosticator. When did you say, because you told me this morning, Arizona was your pick. You know my memory is so feeble. When did you pick Arizona to make the World Series?
Well, just go back in the archives, and I believe it was last week before the World Series started when we were still, or whenever we were still finishing up the. I think it was the Phillies, and the Phillies were playing. I think it was probably Game 5 or whatever.
Last week, I can believe it. Okay.
Yeah, no. Last week. It wasn't at the
Oh,
beginning
I
of the
thought
year.
you were going to tell me when
I'm not Jimmy. I'm not
postseason
Jimmy the
began.
Greek.
Yeah.
No.
It has been.
I would have loved to, but I didn't. I didn't do that.
It's honestly been an incredible postseason. I think the games have been great. I think we'll talk about this in a minute. The state of baseball being, very healthy. I don't know what the TV numbers are. I haven't looked at them yet, but I can tell you it's been compelling stuff to watch. Even last night, eighth inning. The Rangers were fortunate to get out of that because they brought in Chapman, and man, was he hit hard, but sometimes right at him, and they ended with a double play after they'd scored a run. But and you're only down 2 runs, you get a man on now. The time runs at the plate, and that's the kind of stuff we have seen all year long. The Rangers end up winning the game. They do it in Arizona. Home field has not meant much in postseason, it seems to me. 2-1 is the lead, but they lose Scherzer, and they lose, more importantly, Garcia, the former Redbird who was the ALCS MVP, who's just been incredible. You tell me what the oblique is and how bleak is that injury, and when you think Garcia comes back.
Well, it's very bleak. I would be shocked if Garcia comes back.
Wow.
I feel more optimistic about Scherzer, just for the simple fact that sometimes spasms don't last as long. I don't think they're not worried about the elbow. The elbow is what got hit by the comebacker.
Right.
But he seemed fine. He'll be sore today, and I think he's more sore in the lower back. The oblique is not good. I mean, even if you slightly pull it, as hard as he swings.
What is the oblique?
It's just the muscles. Barry Phillips is a lot better at Campbell Clinic describing
right.
this. But the oblique is, I think it's the muscles that are kind of wrapped around your rib cage, and as much torque as he creates, all hitters, but as much as he creates, when it's in the back of your head, that the mental aspect of it is going to affect the swing itself. He's going to compromise. I don't foresee him playing the rest of the series. So that's going to be more difficult for Bruce Bochy than anything. Is who do I put in here? Now he's had guys off the bench that have really stepped up and played really well, but he's been more successful being able to use those guys in pinch hit situations, and they've come through. Now they're going to have to step up and jump into that role, and very, very difficult shoes to fill when you got a guy that's put up bigger numbers than anybody's ever put up in the postseason.
Now, when Adolis Garcia was wearing a Redbirds uniform, did you see him being this good?
No. I mean, nobody did. I don't think. I mean, look at how many transactions have happened since he's been with the Redbirds to get here. I think it's just he's continued to get better, obviously, and he's gotten in the right situation where he's been able to thrive and play every day. And when you play every day, you get better and figure things out. But man, he's played really well, and I hate that for him.
All right, yeah. Since you were so brilliant in the Philly series, give me this World Series. What do you think's going to happen here?
I think it's going to go 7 games. I do think that the Rangers are going to win it in 7, but I wouldn't be surprised because when you look at this Diamondbacks club, and I guess we're getting into the state of baseball. It's so refreshing. I know it is to you. We've talked some on the air and off the air, but to watch the way that these two teams play, how they've gotten here, and over the years we've discussed that the teams that traditionally win the World Series, even through the analytics and the sabermetrics and the launch angles and all those things, have gone through. The teams that put balls in play consistently are the teams that win. They play good defense, they pitch, but they're able to move runners over. They're able to, they hit some home runs. But the other night, I think the Diamondbacks only struck out 2 times the entire game. Well, that means they're putting a lot of balls in play.
Yeah.
They find holes. They steal. They can run they run the bases really well. They defend, and they're getting timely hitting. So, I hope that the rest of the league and the rest of the ownerships are looking at how are these teams getting there? How in the world the Diamondbacks got there with a very low payroll, not in a big market. Well, they've had really good drafts. Derek Ladnier, who's a very good friend of mine, played at Ole Miss years ago. He's been with in their scouting department and been their scouting director, and that's their philosophy. They've gone out and gotten great athletes that can really play the game, and they bet on them, and they played them, and they haven't been shy to move them through their system relatively fast.
What is interesting to me, honestly, is I don't care what analytics you use. This thing has struck me. At one point, 21-4, that was the record of the team that hit more home runs in a game was the winning team in that particular game. 21 out of 25. That would tell me that, this new, I don't know if it's swinging up or, you don't care if you strike out, but it's a home run ball game. That's really coming true here.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's no question about it. But here's the thing, Wolo, is if you look at, say, I'm going to give Dave Woloshin 600 at bats. You get 600 at bats.
Yeah.
And you're physical and all that. And you say, that for me to get paid, if I hit 30 home runs, right? 30 home runs, and I drive in close to 100, it doesn't matter what my batting average is. It doesn't matter how many times I strike out. Guys go, okay, I'm gonna get into that mode. You're gonna run into 30 balls out of 600 at bats. So that's what guys have been doing over the last several years, because that's what the analytics say are creating value for players and players that are getting paid. So that's what they've gone to. Well, now all of a sudden I think there's going to be a balance. There are certain guys that, you would call are run producers, and there's run scorers. Well, run producers are guys that are doing that.
Right.
However, and I'd rather that guy hit a fly ball to the warning track and go sit down than to hit a single and walk, and now I got to rent a cab to get him to third base. He's a base clogger, right?
Right.
So I just think that the state of the game is really good. I think we are going to see, and I've talked to a lot of guys in the industry that are in the trenches from player development standpoint, and I do think we're going to get a more of a balanced somewhere in between the old National League and the old American League. And that's what baseball's about, to me.
I will say this. The changes baseball made with the pitch clock and with taking away shifts, which I was against to begin with, those have worked. I hate a guy on second base to start the 10th inning. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But the other stuff I think has worked. All right, last thing. They're talking about changing the format because the Dodgers, the Orioles, the Braves, all division winners, all out in the first round. I think they all won 100 games and they were all out. Baseball's supposed to be a marathon, but that seems like postseason's a whole different ball game, and that's what we really care more about. I don't mind if they were to shorten the season to 154 games and make sure the playoffs, other than the wild card, were all best of 7. That, to me, is fairer.
That's what they should do, and I think they will. I don't think they're going to be doing a favor per se to those respective teams. It didn't matter what teams did that, but you're right. It's a marathon, and so unfortunate for the Dodgers, Braves, and the Orioles. Very fortunate for the Diamondbacks because they were playing the hottest at the time, right?
Yeah.
And so good for them. But you can still have both of those, right? Make that first round. Not the wild card round, but make the first round the best of 7.
I'm with you.
And then no one can complain.
And I don't mind. I honestly wouldn't mind if they lost. If they went back to the way it used to be, 154, it would be okay. Some folks would say, "Oh, now the statistics are going to be screwed up." Who cares? Who cares? Yeah,
you're right.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. One more show. We'll wrap it up next week. We really appreciate you.
All right, well, thank you.
That is our guy on baseball. That is Tim Doolin. We're going to bring in Jeff Moore to put this Week 8 to bed in just a second. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Ken. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. And Ken understands, hey, if you're rebuilding this renovation with innovation, you're making quite the commitment. We get that. If you are building that dream home, maybe you're looking for some land. By the way, he's got it. You're not sure how to utilize land for this dream home. Ken knows. And he knows that you're making a big financial commitment, which is why he pledges to work with you very closely all the way through, ensuring what you should expect. Quality construction on time, on budget, with collaboration with you. And they've been doing that for 2 generations. His dad began the business like 70-something years ago. Ken Jr.'s had it for years now. And if you go to kengarland.com, you'll see the palaces that have been built by Ken Garland Custom Home Builders for all these years. They're gorgeous. And he's fun to talk to. 751-1632. He sets you straight. He sees little details and big picture all at once. He's the perfect guy. He's Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Jeff Moore in studio on the NFL is next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
If you haven't experienced Genesis Diamonds yet, your moment has arrived. Next weekend, November 10th through 12th, Genesis is putting everything on sale. Save 20, 30, even 35%. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, engagement rings. World-class designers will be here too, showcasing fashion jewelry never seen here before. All on sale. Luxury pre-owned Rolex watches and all lab-grown diamonds are also included. Don't miss this spectacular store-wide sale. Next weekend, November 10th, 11th, and 12th at Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wolo said hello.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
And I welcome back in, as always, Jeff Moore in studio. He is going to put Week 8 to bed, and what a great week we have literally had. Oh, you know, this is the National Football League. Something crazy happens every week. I got to start with the team that you fell in love with, okay? Now, I'm going to preface this. Hard Knocks is so well done by HBO. But you know what they do? They go back to the old Roone Arledge ABC Sports philosophy. Up close and personal. You get to know somebody or a team, and you start to care about them because you get to know them. So the Robert Saleh stuff, which, you know, you get to, I mean, he's on TV. He knows it. He did a great job. I took it with a grain of salt. But I got to tell you now, with no Rodgers and the injuries he's had defensively and everything else, the fact that they're 4-3 now, that's pretty darn impressive.
It is impressive. It's impressive, too, that they've gotten a little more stability and consistent play out of their quarterback, which was the big challenge for them once Aaron Rodgers went down. But this team has young players. The culture, I think, is what's changed, what he's changed, and he has those guys playing hard. They believe. They play 4 quarters plus if they have to, that's usually the biggest challenge for a coach going into a losing team like that, is getting a culture change and getting the team to buy in to what they're trying to say and how they're trying to get them to play and believe in each other and cover each other consistently. And you just see this team, when they line up, when they play, even if they lose, you got to beat them. They're not a team that just beats themselves the way they used to. And you have to give your Coach Saleh, credit for being able to change the culture of this team and have them playing the way they're playing. And with a winning record at this point in that division, that speaks a lot to where the Jets are headed. And I know that Jet fans have to be pretty excited.
The Tennessee Titans, a lot of people in this area care about them, winners over Arthur Smith's Atlanta Falcons this past week. The story here is, have the Titans found their new quarterback? Tannehill got hurt. In comes the kid from Kentucky, Will Levis. Looks darn good. Is he the new guy?
I think he definitely is the new guy. I mean, he was really heady in the pocket, really looked good the way he threw under pressure, didn't throw picks, which is, sometimes a challenge for a rookie quarterback when they're facing NFL defenses for the first time. He throws a great deep ball. And then, of course, Andre Hopkins had a big day catching passes for him. Yeah, I think they may have found their quarterback. They just got to protect him. That's number one. I think for young rookie quarterbacks, one of the biggest things is protection, because they're just not accustomed to the kind of physical play that you see in the pros like it is in college. And so if they can protect him, and they certainly should be able to do that with a running back like Derrick Henry, just get him into play action and make sure they feed him so that there's not the kind of pressure on him as a quarterback. I think they've got really reason to be optimistic that they may have settled that position, and that would be huge for this team.
Well, they play on Thursday night in Pittsburgh. Tough chore, but we'll see if Levis can continue to progress. It's the NFL, so there's going to be some craziness every week. Like the way the Eagles killed Miami 2 weeks ago. This week, explain to me how in the world Denver, which I think is battling the Bears for the worst team in the NFL, can beat what I think is the best team in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Familiarity. I think, they've played the Chiefs twice, and they've been able to kind of keep this offense, the Chiefs offense, in check, better than most teams that have faced the Chiefs. And I think that goes back to just that unique thing that you have when division opponents play each other. It doesn't matter what the records are. They know each other. They know their systems, and it's about how well those teams play that day. It doesn't help the Chiefs that Mahomes threw 2 picks. And, of course, Russell Wilson didn't put up huge numbers, but he had 3 TD throws in that game. I think when division opponents play each other, there's just not that awe of a team's record. It's like, we know these guys, we can line up and beat them. And sometimes those are the toughest games for teams to win when a winning record is teams that are in their own division.
Now, America's team, right, the Cowboys, or at least they tell you that, they killed the Rams this week. Dak Prescott looking good, but they got to play the Eagles, the best record at 7-1 in the NFL. Kind of break down what you think happens in this game. This, to me, is the best game of the week, and it's the late afternoon game. It's not Sunday night football, which belongs to Buffalo and Cincinnati, and then Buffalo's the most up-and-down team. And Joe Burrow's starting to come on. I mean, what do they won, 3 or 4 in a row? That'll be a fun game to watch. But the Cowboys and the Eagles, that's going to be the best game of the week.
It's going to be a great game because, again, these are division opponents that know each other well. Eagles have been kind of inconsistent offensively, although Jay Hurts to A.J. Brown is one of the best passing combos we've seen in a long time. I mean, A.J. Brown has been just unguardable. But it's great to see Dak really run that offense. And you think about the way the game started. You know, he was sacked like 3 times in that first 2 offensive series, and he still hung in there and drove them to a touchdown, a beautiful pass that he threw to the tight end. So, you know, mentally, I like what I saw out of Dak. And for this offense, he has to be a guy that's locked in and playing well and not remembering if he makes mistakes or he has a bad play, he has to come back and play well. And that's what he did. He showed some really mental toughness in that game. Their defense gets a pick 6. They were all over the place. It seemed like I know for the Rams probably felt like they were playing against 12 players. I mean, they were just all over the Rams and really, I think, pressing them well. So if they can keep this offense moving the way they do, we know that their defense is one of the best, even though they've had some injuries, and they're going to put pressure on Jalen Hurts. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to be effective against this Eagles passing game, because those guys have been really stunned here lately.
High hard one for you. Dak Prescott, overachiever career-wise, looking at the total picture, underachiever?
I think underachiever because I think at times he's let the bad plays get in his head, and then he would have to make another bad play and another bad play. And so the biggest thing for him, and there's tremendous pressure on any quarterback playing in the league, but when you're the quarterback of America's team or one of the most popular teams in the league, you're always going to be scrutinized. And so, you know, with the way that he played against the Rams, if he can perform like that against the Eagles, I mean, it bodes well for this team going forward, because he's really the key. I mean, if he can keep this team scoring 21 points at least a game, that defense is going to hold and they're going to be fine.
8th or 9th game in the NFL is not a must-win game, but this is a telling game because Dallas is right back in the picture here of capturing home field advantage and winning the division. If they win this game, how do you think it ends up?
I think the Cowboys got a good chance. I mean, I think the way that the Eagles have been a little bit up and down in their running game and had to rely on the passing game the way they have, and then the fact that the Cowboys have one of the best defensive fronts and pressure quarterbacks better than any team in the league, that's really where the game is going to be won. And when I look at that matchup, I think the Cowboys have a little bit of an advantage. So it'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off. But if that can be consistent and that defensive front can put the pressure that they're capable of putting on a quarterback, they can force Jalen Hurts to make some mistakes, and he's not played great sometimes when he's gotten that kind of pressure in his face.
I think that game is in Philly, and that's why I go with Philly in this game, but I think it is clearly going to be the game of the week. Hey, last night, Detroit, last game of the week, Monday Night Football, they just look really steady. Vegas is not a very good team. I think that's for sure. We know the Bears beat the heck out of them the week before, so we know they're not any good. But Detroit is steady, man. They got a run game.
They're steady. I mean, they got tremendous performance out of their rookie Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
They've got
Where's
4
that kid
other rookies that are getting quality time and making big plays. Again, culture change. You know, that coach has gotten those guys believing that they can win if they play for 4 quarters and try to play mistake-free. And they're a team that nobody wants to face because they're physical, because they run the ball and run it well. And then Jared Goff is got some good weapons out there. And he's playing well. He missed a couple of throws in that game that possibly could have added to the score. So, I mean, Detroit is a team that is going to be dangerous, and I'm sure they like the fact that they still kind of fly under the radar and don't have the kind of pressure that a lot of these other teams have that have historically been good.
Here's what I like about Detroit. First of all, I think Dan Campbell's a good coach. Second, they win both sides of the trenches. Their offensive line domineered, and when they bring pressure last night, and they brought 6 guys sometimes. Poor Jimmy Garoppolo, man. I mean, he didn't know where to go, and he didn't have any time to go anywhere. I felt bad for him. But Detroit's lines, both sides are really, really good. All right, this is a new problem, only in the last 5 years or so. Never in your locker room, I'm sure. But did you hear about Kenny Gainwell? At halftime, there was a tweet that was out there that bugged him. And so at halftime, he tweeted back because he had fumbled the ball near the goal line in the game on Sunday. And he tweeted back at the guy who had sent the negative tweet out. And that became the rage. What kind of – maybe this is why Gainwell's not having a great year because he's not focused enough where you're tweeting back at halftime. This is a new problem for coaches. I'm a little surprised. Like if I were the coach, I'd be going, guys, when you walk in the locker room, you lock up or here, put your phone with us. We're registering it and we're putting it in a safe place. But you can't be looking at the phone once you get to the stadium.
No question about that, and you can't, even if you look at it, you can't be responding to that kind of criticism because you're going to get that kind of criticism. You're going to have fans that love what you're doing and fans that don't like what you're doing, and if you're going to be impacted by that, it's not a good thing for a player because his focus should be somewhere else and trying to help his team win and trying to be better, as a player each day in each game. So. It's the times we live in.
Right.
I mean, that you can instantly respond or be impacted by something like that.
I'll say this: you're 7-1, and coaches will look away and they'll go, "Okay, here's a lesson that we learned, and no big deal." If they were 2-5, 3-4, this would be an issue.
It would. And again, it's the kind of thing that a player can certainly change that kind of behavior quickly. It's not something that a coach would be overly concerned about. You just have a conversation and you take the guy's phone or you make sure that somebody takes his phone if that's going to be a distraction for him.
Got a fill in Minnesota, which had a good year last year, and it's been not so good this year. Problems with Kirk Cousins, and now that Kirk Cousins era probably is over. And Achilles, he's out for over a year now. That's the way that kind of works. Is Minnesota done?
I think so. Unfortunately, I think he was really having a pretty good year. I mean, leading in a lot of categories as a passer, especially touchdowns. And that's going to be a tough position to fill. It always is, that quarterback position. But they relied so much on him to make this offense at least have an opportunity for them to win on Sunday. So that's going to be a tough shoe to fill, and I don't know that they have guys on their bench or in their locker room that can do it.
And tough for him to come back too. He's been around a long time, and Achilles are at least a year recovery, and you're not doing anything for a year. I don't know. And he's got to be in his mid-30s, right?
Yeah. So it's going to be tough for him to come back, but I mean he's a quarterback that guys, if he can come back healthy, even if he's not at Minnesota, there are a lot of guys, a lot of teams that could use a quarterback with his experience and his accuracy. All
right. Last thing, as we talk with Jeff Moore every week on the National Football League, and this we mentioned the great games, Philly and the Eagles, Buffalo and Cincinnati. Here's the one that I love: Kansas City. Fresh off this embarrassing loss. And I got to make an excuse. I think Patrick Mahomes was sick. He was sick before the game, and he tried to gut through it, and he was not himself. Mm-hmm. Against Miami, a Miami team that I know you're still high on. I am too, but a team that got embarrassed by Philly 2 weeks ago. Both these teams have something to prove. That's another great game.
It's another great game, and it's a game being played in Germany, and so you also got to factor in that time change and how that's going to affect the players as far as their routines being off and different. I think a game like that really favors a team like the Dolphins that really is high impact, high scoring, throwing the ball all over the yard. It'll be interesting to see how they play, given that they're playing in that different time slot.
All right, my friend, as always, appreciate it. Next week we're about halfway through, so that'll be a lot of fun to maybe grade where these teams are.
Look forward to it.
Thank you. That is Jeff Moore on the National Football League, brought to you by Southern Security Credit Union. That's your home team credit union, and they have been for over 70 years now. Always the best when it comes to serving this Mid-South community with the best rates, low fees, high customer service and the newest of technology. Talk about new technology. Wait till you see they have broken ground on that brand new facility they're going to have in Collierville. If you're a business owner, if you're in need of an auto loan, you need better benefits with your credit card, let me tell you, Southern Security can handle all your business banking needs. All you got to do is make a call. That's right, they'll even talk to you. The number is 901-452-7900. Talk to one of the team members about what the benefits are of joining the family of Southern Security. It's really that simple. By the way, big sponsors of the U of M athletic department. If you want to go to their website instead of talking, go to southernsecurity.org. They are your home team credit union. Back in a minute, to Tampa we go. We close Tuesday with TJ Reeves.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
If you want a deal, get to Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, because we've got Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days still going strong. If you're looking to save up to $12,000 off a new ride, we got it covered. Right now, take your pick. 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit 4-wheel drive or 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4, $12,000 off MSRP. And 2023 Wagoneer L Series 111 4x4, $10,000 off MSRP. And if we don't have what you're looking for, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Wagoneer PS5 64,158, MSRP 117,430. Cherokee P88 76 88.9, MSRP 80,205. Gladiator PL 509 834, MSRP 68,815. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's fall now. The weather's changing, the days are getting shorter, and we all are at least beginning to think about Christmas. This will be our 38th Christmas at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and I enjoy every minute of the season. Come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis. Jewelry guaranteed to make her happy. Diamonds and rubies, sapphires and emeralds, the most beautiful gemstones you can imagine, and you'll find a vast selection of rings and earrings, bracelets and pendants that will show those gems off to their finest advantage, and they'll put a smile on her face. With our 5 decades of experience, we can help you find just that perfect piece. The piece that says, I love you. For 38 years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple that jewelry with our quality and beauty, our value and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Fine Jewelry family. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
It's football time in Memphis, and if you or someone you know is thinking of selling their home, it sure better be home selling time in Memphis. And just like you may have a favorite team, favorite coach, or favorite players, you may not have a favorite real estate agent. If you don't, think about drafting me, Sheldon Rosengarten, with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I always tell people they need to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers to find out who will be the best quarterback of their home selling team. Have you heard people say that when you want the job done, call Sheldon? Find out why my award-winning, highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. Also find out how to take advantage of our worldwide relocation network. Call or email me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now, and go Tigers.
Wow, I feel good shopping at DriveMax. DriveMax, you get value.
Need a car that screams I feel good? DriveMax has it all. From cars to SUVs, find a tightly inspected used car that'll have you dancing all the way home. Call 901-664-2424 or visit DriveMaxApproval.com.
DriveMax, I got approved.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We are presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai, and don't forget, inside that building is also Genesis of Olive Branch, and they'll be moving soon. More on that with details to come. In the meantime, this is a very sad day. In order for T.J. Reeves to be able to send his twins to college, he has to leave the show come basketball season.
Why are you starting on a downer note today?
Well, because this is it for, till what? Till April? Till Final Four?
So I have other work duties involving my friends at BetUS TV and hosting a daily college basketball show that happens to be during Wolo and Friends time. However, as I pledged to you, if you need me, there are technological ways to make this work. We'll get on the case. You, me, Zach, and anybody else to make it work. If you need me on an occasion to pop back on,
I know.
I can't do it live.
Right.
I'm good, but I can't clone myself, but we'll make it work somewhere down the road.
I am sure. For major things, we will do that, and then you'll be back with us on a regular basis after, what is it, the Final Four?
After the Final Four. But, yeah, anything that's going on with college hoops, I'm down with coming on with Wolo. Big expectation for the Tiger college basketball season coming up.
Well, first of all, hold on. Let's start with Saturday. Now, I'm down to you. How many? I'm down to you, Mel's dog and a Polish, correct?
You're at least like minus 3 or 4, I think.
No.
For a lot of different reasons.
I am down a dog and a Polish. I think double or nothing on that.
This is betting on the Bears to do anything, much less against the Buccaneers.
No. But we're not talking Bears. We're talking Bulls and Tigers Saturday at the Liberty Bowl.
I tried to set you straight. I tried to set you straight previously. I just was talking with Zach off the air. I am a Memphis State grad. I am on your program. Why am I wagering on USF against the Tigers? I'm going to tell you why. To square you up.
Because you were the voice of the Bulls. And, by the way, 2 daughters that usually wear USF stuff.
Mrs. Reeves is the USF grad in this house. And so believe me when I tell you, take care of business Saturday, please, because I don't want to hear that.
Okay,
I do not need to hear that this
Tigers
weekend.
are 13-point favorites in
take advantage of it, and please do the deed on Saturday, because I don't want to hear that. But why would I wager you on USF succeeding when I went to the former Memphis State? I am blue and gray through and through.
I've already told you why.
You're trying to catch up.
You were green and gold. Just how many years ago? It's a long time since
it's actually been longer than you and I want to admit, because it's before I had the twins back 15 years ago. So it's been a little while.
That is incredible. Seriously. That has been 15 years.
I still have people that come up to me that believe that I was doing USF's basketball as recently as 4 or 5 years ago, and I have to show them the picture of the twins and say they are sophomores in high school. It has been a while. But yes, I did have some association with them.
It's weird how time flies. Can you believe I saw this today? Because I just can't believe it. Do you know how old Dan Rather is?
How old? Who is? I'm sorry.
Dan Rather. The old CBS.
Dan Rather is right at like 85 or 90 years old.
He's 92 today.
92. He's 92
yes.
old.
That's how fast time goes.
Wait a minute now. Join the club. Are you ready for the roll call? This is to prove how old we truly are.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Captain Kirk, William Shatner, is, I think, 92.
Yeah, I think
Robert Duvall, the famed actor of the Godfather movies and all the movies, is also 92.
Wow.
Barbara Eden, I Dream of Jeannie, is also 91 or 92 years old. And now you're telling me Dan Rather is 92 years old as well?
Absolutely.
My God,
crazy.
On living a long life. How about that?
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to college football. You had a good game. Clemson, NC
State in Raleigh.
Clemson's not going to make the playoffs again. Dabo Swinney is losing his mind. He tore into a teenager on his own radio show.
So the Monday night call-in show got spicy because whoever this guy was that does sound like a teenager on the show he came like Macho Man Savage, like Jerry the King Lawler at the Mid-South Coliseum off the top rope with the elbow, right at Dabo on his own radio show about pride comes before the fall. We're paying you $11.5 million. These are the things he's saying to the coach.
Right.
You look like Tommy Bowden with what this program has become, and Dabo just put him right back in his place. You're in that 1.5%. You're the problem because your expectations have exceeded the appreciation. That was his phrase that he keeps using, and he used it on the show last night.
Right.
The appreciation for the fact that previously we've had 12 consecutive 10-win seasons, and he said that's only happened 3 other times in the history of college football, twice by Alabama and once by Georgia. And he goes, other than that, nobody else has done that. And so he was going on and on. This doesn't usually end well. You know this.
No.
You've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time. When you start taking on the fans, start taking on the media, everybody's looking at what's the buyout in your contract, and are you pulling the ejection handle, or what are you doing?
Well, 2 weeks ago, he said, maybe this losing is good to get these bandwagon guys off the thing.
To clear more room in the bandwagon here.
You know what?
Get some people. I will tell you, working that game Saturday, they are not the same in terms of skill level players, obviously. They don't have the quarterback. They don't have a Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence-type quarterback. This kid, Cade Klubnik, who broke a bunch of Drew Brees' records at the same high school in Austin, Texas, is not the same type of quarterback. He is not elite, and he can't cover up some of their ills. And NC State's got a good defense, and Clemson now has 4 ACC losses for the first time since 2010. Beginning of Dabo.
Let me just say this. I appreciate Dabo. I believe he's worth the $11.5 million. He's like Nick Saban. I think if you were to go back to when he took over as an interim guy, what they have done for admissions, to get into the school, they had to go up. They've raised tuition because of that. He's worth the $11.5 million. But that's where he should get his appreciation. He should block out what the fans are saying. Honestly, you're getting $11.5 million, and you've got the support of your AD and your president. Who cares?
And you made the college football playoff 6 years in a row, winning 2 national titles.
Right.
So you've done it before. The biggest criticism, I know you want to move on to something else and you got to get out of here. The biggest criticism is he won't embrace the transfer portal and hasn't done it the last couple of years. And his fan base is going crazy because they've lost some guys and they haven't picked anybody up in the transfer portal, and he may have to change that philosophy, especially if the pressure's on.
He's already changed his mind about paying players. Remember, he said a couple of years ago, if we start paying players, I may not have to. I may not want to be.
I may be in the
this.
NFL, maybe in the pros, maybe somewhere else. Right.
So he's already said that he's backed off because apparently he's got a pretty good NIL packages put together to entice guys. But you're right, he's going to have to go to the portal. I agree with that. All right. College football revealed tonight for the playoffs. Here's my 4, and I want yours. I've got Georgia because they don't lose. I know you're not supposed to go back to last year, but until the team loses, I believe in them. 2.
Do they look any less than the number 1 team right now? I don't think so.
No.
I agree with you. Keep going.
Ohio State is 2. They got wins over Penn State and Notre Dame. I mean, come on. 3. Florida State, they got a great win over LSU, and they got a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback, a prolific offense, a decent defense. I think they're number 3. I go with Washington for 4. Washington's got that great win over Oregon. They got a guy who's leading at Michael Penix for the Heisman Trophy.
Tampa high school quarterback,
there
Michael Penix,
so
made his way all the way to Seattle.
Yep.
I think the debate is them or Michigan. What do you do with a 1-loss Alabama, especially if they beat LSU Saturday? I know it's 1 loss. You got to wait for everybody to lose. And we often say this with that first reveal tonight, that out of these 4 teams, usually at least 2 of them are not there in the playoff after the first reveal. At least 50%. So we'll see.
So, but do you agree with me? Washington 4 and Michigan not in. I go with Michigan because their resume shows no great win.
Their out of conference schedule
and
is horrific.
Cheating. Yeah, and they're cheating.
It's horrific. And the cheating scandals there too. Yeah, Washington is fine until they lose in the Pac-12. Oklahoma might have been in the conversation, but Kansas got them last week, so they have a loss. It will not be dull coming up. I know you got to go, my friend. I got to get my Buccaneers back on track. I'm headed to the Lone Star State Buccaneers Houston Texans this weekend.
You know what?
But I will have my eye Saturday afternoon on Tigers USF for sure. Don't make it loud in my household, please.
By the way,
do not make it loud.
But by the way, you do have with your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Cruise, you have something in common.
How are you connecting the dots before we leave?
Mission Impossible.
Oh, why is that Mission Impossible?
Because your Bucs are done.
You're declaring them done.
I'm declaring
All
them
right,
done.
mark the tape, Zach. He's declaring the Bucks done prior to this game with Houston when they were 3-1 a few weeks ago. We'll see what happens.
I understand. I've watched. I've learned. Baker Mayfield is Baker Mayfield.
We have seen some bad Baker the last couple of games. Let's see if we see better Baker in Houston and it turns back around. And then he play the Titans, by the way, and Will Levis here in 2 weekends. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I love the Will Levis story. By the way, I miss you. I really will. But we'll see you in April. I'm sure we'll visit on occasion here.
We'll visit on occasion. Do well this weekend, Tigers USF. And we'll talk when we get a chance to talk as the college basketball unfolds.
You got it. Thank
you. Good to be with you.
All right. That's our friend. That's TJ Reeves down in Tampa. He's brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. Matt Eflin and his professionals are they're just smart the way they do it. They get to know you. They collaborate with you. They get to know you and your family, what's important, what's your budget, and then they protect your car, your home, and they make sure you've got the right life insurance. If you got a small to mid-sized business, same sort of thing. They will get to know your business, what your product is, who your employees are, what your budget is, and then they find the perfect commercial insurance company to make sure you are protected. All you got to do is call Matt or Grant or Andrew or Heath at 901-386-GER. That's 4777, and it's GER because they're huge Tiger supporters. 901-386-GER. Get protected the right way with the Eflin Insurance Team. That'll do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Johnny Radio comes your way next.